So I reiterate here, the bill is dead.
The story of this great city is about the years before this night. We are free!
Hey everybody, it's a new episode of Ho Ho Hong Kong. I'm your host, Mohammed Magdi. I'm sitting here without my best friend and my family member, Vivek Mabobani, as I'm still in Australia. You're hearing me live from, well, not live. You're hearing me as you're hearing me now from, I'm in Melbourne, Australia. And it's very late night. It's 3 hours ahead. I think while I am here, Australia changed the time to daylight saving, nightlife saving. I think nightlife saving is the one that they are doing in Hong Kong and failing miserably at saving our nightlife. In Australia, they made it 3 hours ahead of Hong Kong instead of 2. So now you're listening to me in the future, and I am sitting here with a very special guest that we'll get to in a second. But before that, I would like to tell you that Australia, first of all, is very far away from everywhere else, and I don't recommend it. So that's the first thing. Just don't go. Don't worry about it. And second thing is, I've been having a great time. We caught up with my buddy Andy Curtin, original founder of the podcast, who unfortunately I just wiped him out with a lot of activities over the weekend, and we hung out together with the kids and everybody. So unfortunately, by the time we went back, he was just completely wiped out and he could not make it to the podcast. However, we have a much better looking guest today to fill in / be our guest for today. Annie Louey.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I am not your best friend. Not even close.
Not even, no. That's
not even.
Yeah, the things that we do are not supposed to happen between best friends. That's not really the code.
I think some couples would argue differently. They'd be like, this person is my best friend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about, I think over the course of the last 10 days, a lot of best friends relationships would have broken up if they spent 24 hours together.
That's true. Not even in a small confined space.
Yes,
in a moving
it's mostly
vehicle
a moving vehicle
that I'm driving because you can't drive.
Well, I can. I just don't have a license, and I'm not very comfortable driving.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. Exactly. And you have been on the podcast before. And this is your first time solo podcast. Last time it was actually 4 of us.
4 of us.
And funny enough,
crowded, but yeah.
Yeah, it was crowded. But funny enough, it was actually in my house in Hong Kong. Now tell the audience where we're recording.
We are in Annie's basement. We're in my living room.
Yeah. So last time was in Hong Kong a few months ago, and we were recording in my living room in Hong Kong. Now we're recording in your living room in Melbourne, Australia. How did we get here? Great question. But very quickly, when I arrived to Australia, it was like end of September. And you picked me up from the airport in Melbourne. And then we had this crazy plan to drive straight to Sydney.
Yeah, so I picked you up, and that's because I needed my car in Sydney. We were going to do some road tripping and go to my friend's wedding.
Right.
So rather than me flying, I wanted you to experience the true, authentic Australian road trip.
Yes.
So it takes about 9 hours to drive if you're doing it continuously to get from Melbourne to Sydney. But I've done this drive earlier this year, and it's more fun and better for you to stop somewhere and have a snooze. So yeah, on the way up, I booked us some accommodation in a town called Yass. I think that's how you
Yes.
None of us can take it. I don't think anyone who's ever gone to that town can take it seriously.
So Yass is YASS.
Yeah.
And literally every person, even from Australia, who we say we went to Yass, they automatically go, Yass!
Or Yass Queen!
Yeah.
Slay! But it's all near Canberra. A lot of people will stop there on the way to Canberra as well. And on the way...
Canberra is the capital that just no one goes... That's not really a popular destination at all.
However, it's because it's right between Melbourne and Sydney. So when the two cities fought for which one should be the capital, they said, let's stop fighting. Let's put it right in the middle.
Is it true?
It's true. true. I'm full of
They
facts.
just picked a random city in the middle,
Yes.
like a random boring
yeah,
city.
which is why it's so boring and it's the city of roundabouts. I'm glad I didn't take you there, but you would have gone very car
Also,
sick.
0 people have told me to go to Canberra. Like, I've told so many people
Yeah,
go to Australia.
definitely.
Nobody went.
How
Like,
it's-
you gotta go to Canberra. Like,
It's
nobody.
very comfortable though, because we didn't stop there. I didn't get to tell you everything brief you on every town, which
Yeah.
I've tried to. But Canberra, my best friend.
Well, I was sleeping most of the time, so that's maybe it makes it harder to brief a sleeping person
that's true.
on facts about
I could have left you at
surroundings.
many gas stations just sleeping actually and just run off.
Yeah.
But Canberra, my best friend did her schooling there, and she describes it as a beanbag. It's hard to get comfortable, but
Yeah.
once you are, it's very hard to get out of.
Right.
So people say it's very good for raising a family.
So when we started the road trip, one of the things I was really excited about was seeing wildlife, because a lot of, all my life I grew up like, watching Steve Irwin and, stuff like the shows that tells me about like the wildlife that you just see in Australia, especially when you hit the road that long. I'm imagining I'm seeing a few kangaroos. There is no chance I'm not seeing kangaroos. And over the first 2 days, I did see
We
a
saw
lot of
so many
animals,
kangaroos.
and 100% of them were very dead.
Very dead.
They were so deceased, and they went
Deceased.
from
I thought you said diseased, but they're both.
Yeah,
Diseased
yeah.
and deceased.
deceased. Yes, so every single animal. So first of all, you also mentioned a few animals, or you told me there's a few animals that are dead. They're not kangaroos. They're other animals.
Other
but
national emblems.
Yeah. So-
Echidnas, which you had not heard
yeah,
of
explain
before.
to me and the audience. Yeah, what are these animals?
Okay, so an echidna is like a hedgehog, but much bigger, and they walk around, and if they're provoked, their spikes will go up and
Right.
prickle you. But they're very cute. They also use
They were
them-
not cute when I saw them because they were in 2D.
The one that I saw, definitely was very distinctive because you can still see the spikes. It looks like
Right.
a big spiky rock. And they have very long, cute snouts that they use to eat ants with. So that one, very hard to spot in, when you're out in the wild. But this one
Yeah.
was definitely deceased. And I saw just a kangaroo tail. No body, just a tail of a kangaroo.
Oh God. I also, no exaggeration, it was only you and me in the car. I feel like in the first day until we stopped at Yas, we saw at least 50 animals.
We
That's not
did.
an exaggeration, right?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
You're like, what bird is that? Like, that's a crow, and it's feeding on a kangaroo carcass. Like,
Right.
this is the...
Yeah. So what is is every Australian driver just swerving around Is that your life?
See, this is...
What is happening?
I live in the city, so I don't drive to the country that often. And this is the first time I was driving at night and
Yeah.
had to swerve around a very large, freshly
We did,
mangled
yeah. That was
kangaroo.
pretty fucking dangerous.
That was actually really dangerous,
Yeah.
and I was patting myself on the back for going.
I would have liked it if he was alive and we swerved around him. At least I can say that
what they
I
should
saw a
look
live
like.
one.
Yeah.
But even that was like freshly dead.
I would rather it dead for sure, for
Sure.
safety. Because
So how do you guys get- like, when
kangaroo
you-
is very unpredictable if it's
Yeah.
alive, and they come out at dawn and dusk. And they say that okay, sorry if this is too graphic for people.
No,
because,
go for it.
we're trying to promote Australia as a great holiday destination. But
Right.
also, if you see one of our kangaroos jumping around on the roads, you're supposed to not slow down because it will really fuck you up.
Really?
So you're meant to drive your car at the same speed, or maybe even speed up a little bit, just to make sure it goes over your car. Because otherwise,
Oh my God.
if not, you will crash. You'll just swerve, or something will happen. Maybe you'll flip your car as a result. So it's better that the kangaroos kill.
Okay, let me
you
get this
and-
straight. When you are learning how to drive in Australia, or when you're getting your license, is that what they tell you officially?
No,
Like-
because everyone does their test in the city. So they're not testing you on anything, how to interact with wildlife. But if you drive a lot in the country, everyone will give each other advice like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the official advice. You see a kangaroo,
I would,
kill it.
yes.
Basically. With
This
your
is the word on
vehicle.
the streets.
Yes, word on the streets. Kill a kangaroo on sight. if you are inside your
No,
vehicle.
you're not going to go chasing it like safari style if you see one just to run it over.
Yeah,
But
it sounds like that's kind of what you're saying.
unprovoked,
Yeah.
unprovoked, you are on the road. That's like your territory now, I suppose. As horrible as humans
that's
are, we live at the
exactly.
top of the food chain, and it's kill or be killed. At this stage. But there's little tricks like that. Like if you're driving on a country road around kangaroo hour, wildlife hour, then you should drive closer to the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Because it's very unlikely you're going to see another car pop up out of nowhere. But a kangaroo can pop up out of the sides. So it's better you have a bit more reaction time if you stay driving in the center of the road.
Right. So how is nobody like, because obviously the road is very long, but I feel like this is a problem, right? Like wildlife coming on the highway has to be a problem that is like, do people talk about it here?
Yeah, we all have a friend who's got a story or maybe experienced it. Like I used to do radio and my friend would come down from his farm and he had pieces of kangaroo stuck to the front of his ute because he had to run one over coming into work. So yeah, that's probably as gory as it gets. But wombats, do you know what a wombat is?
Yes.
You do? How would you describe a wombat?
A pretty cute, bigger squirrel.
Oh my God, no.
No? Is that...
It's not a squirrel. It's like a...
It looks like a one, no? Like same body structure.
Maybe like a tiny, very round bear.
Wombat is the one that
type.
makes the coffee. The wombat coffee.
You mean a luwak?
Well, did make that? I think it's the same thing.
Like
Weasel.
a possum? No, it's not like a possum.
Weasel.
It's not a possum.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a mammal, but it's very thick. It's a very big,
Thick.
chonky,
Yeah.
thick with like 5 C's. It's
Yeah.
thick, and you'd rather hit a kangaroo than a wombat because
Oh my god.
they're not going anywhere. They're like hitting a rock. So that can really mess you up as well. But they go very slow, and
So everyone just has stories about like killing wildlife, and then it's just like part of your life here. So okay, back to my earlier question. I feel like that's a problem that should be addressed by the government somehow.
They try. There's some places have deer. I can't remember what they call them, but like deer deterrent lights. So they're like a little blue light, and they're meant to. Deer will see them and go, "Oh, I don't like that. I shouldn't go there." So yeah, they're trying. But kangaroos, they're very bouncy, and they can.
So even if you have like a fence, let's say, along the highway, does that not like a really high fence of sort? So they don't cross because clearly
it's extremely expensive to build a very.
I'm not
tall
saying
fence
like a
around
Trump
all the
style.
highways.
I'm not saying keep them out like they're illegal
Okay, now
immigrants.
you're like being like, let's build a great wall around every freeway around Australia.
But clearly the problem is that they cross the road and get killed. Obviously, so if we just stop them from crossing the road, that's it. The fence doesn't have to be a sophisticated
we're talking,
fence.
Like
just
from
a tall.
Melbourne to Sydney is like however many
Like 1,000
kilometers.
Yeah.
That's expensive. And you were already asking me, why are these roads so dark? Why do they put more lights up? And I said, because it's too expensive. And look at this.
Yeah,
There's
we
like
drove
2
for
cars
hours
on the road.
in the dark.
Yeah, they're going to build all these lights so that 2 people can benefit at 9 p.m. at night.
With that said, when we did get to Sydney, my first time there, I came to Melbourne years ago for Andy's wedding actually, and I spent some time here. Really enjoyed it. And it was also summer back then. It was February. So it was like really different kind of experience for me. When I arrived here, it was minus 35 and I hated it right away. But it was also because it's 6 a.m. It was actually a beautiful day
It did turn into a beautiful day. It was quite frosty in the morning, but that's when you see it like that, when it's frosty, but there's no clouds, it's going to be a fantastic day. It's a cracking day. You got to see hot air balloons.
Yeah. I saw them from the plane landing. Like there was just hot air balloons in the horizon because I was landing at like 6 a.m. So I guess they were up for sunrise.
Yes.
But then when we got to Sydney, I was really impressed by how nice Sydney is in terms of like, I knew it's a big, like, whatever civilized city, like first
Unlike
world city.
Melbourne. Blah.
Actually, before we went, like we stopped by a quick meal and you took me to Coburg, which seems to be, if you're from Melbourne, I guess it's a controversial place in a way. Or like, I guess, because some people really like the vibrance.
No. You're just
no one likes
talking
it.
about Andy.
Well, it's not just Andy though, because like a couple of other people that I met also said like, ooh, that's a sketchy place.
If they think Coburg is sketchy, if they head further north, like the there's like Broadmeadows, and there's places like even further out which they would associate with ethnic suburbia. So what
Right.
they're hating on is just ethnics.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Okay, that's
Where ethnics
now you make them
congregate.
sound super racist.
I think it is. Even though you did call it Little Baghdad.
Yeah, I did call it Little Baghdad, and it's okay coming from me. But it's pretty cool to have Little Baghdad because that also means all the amazing food is there.
Yeah.
The funniest thing is the very first. So when I arrived, listeners would know, unsurprisingly, there is like different queues. That depends on what kind of how thorough your inspection would be. So obviously Australia is known for very strict quarantine on like not quarantine biosecurity
laws.
and whatever. So they kind of tell you like you're supposed to declare everything, and I did. I had like dry food or whatever and declared it. But then there is like a red line, a blue line, and a no line. So and they pointed me at the blue line. They're like, go this way. And the blue line is the highest security, and it actually has nothing to do with the biohazard.
So they're categorizing you.
Yes.
You don't get to categorize yourself.
No, of course not. So it's basically one officer who checks your declaration. You don't know that because you're from here. So the same officer who checks your declaration just to see if you have something to declare or not. People who do declare mostly go to the red line. Red line goes straight to the declaration lady.
Yeah.
But I went to the blue line. Blue line is basically security, which is like the people who think you're a terrorist. Then the red lady. Then the red line lady. So I have both, right? Which is the highest security, whatever. So I arrive, and it's a kid who can't be more than like 25 years old. He's a fucking kid. And in the beginning, he is very standoffish. He goes like, stand there with all of your suitcases. And he was very, not aggressive, but he's just like, he's hostile. Not to sound like a, early 2000s Arab comic. Oh, they stop me everywhere at the airports. Like, I'm used to it at this point. It's not funny. It's not a joke. It's part of life. I just stand there, whatever. I'm nice to him. 2 minutes later, he realized I'm not a threat. He basically asked what I'm doing. I said, I'm visiting my girlfriend. She's right outside. And he goes, oh, nice. How did you meet? And I said, we met in Hong Kong where I live. He asked me what I do. I answer the questions, blah, blah. It becomes a very friendly conversation pretty quickly. And then I said, she's actually picking me up and we're driving to Sydney. And then he goes, oh, Sydney, okay. I'm like, hey, it's going to be my first time in Sydney. What do you think I should do in Sydney? He goes, I like Melbourne.
With a long pause.
Yeah.
Racking his brain.
Yeah. And that was the whole answer. And I didn't know how much the rivalry between these two cities go.
Yeah, except the rivalry is very one-sided because Sydney does not give a shit about what Melbourne thinks because they've got wonderful weather. They don't have time to be depressed. Whereas Melbourne, I think we love to complain. We love to be like, it's better here. It's just like a little kid kind of, with their fists out. And Sydney's just like, yeah, whatever, little dude.
Yeah. It's crazy how much the weather makes a difference too. Because once we arrived in Sydney, we're like, oh, this is so nice.
Yeah, and I feel this year, because I had to live there for a couple of months, that my friends, they've created a persona for me online called Sydney Annie.
Great.
And I put it up on Instagram. We're like, what does Sydney Annie get up to? And people were brutal. They were like, she has acai bowls at Bondi Beach and she only eats at these restaurants. But then I got there and I'm like, my depression is cured. Like, it instantly left my body. I'm like, why would you want to live anywhere else?
Yeah.
Except for the fact that Melbourne has a lot of charm. We often say that it's the sister that's got more personality, but Sydney has
That's what
hots.
people say. Exactly.
Yeah, she's hot to trot.
Oh, God. That's like, no one wants to be the one with the more personality because if you can be with half the personality if you're not compared to anyone else. But once you're the one with the more personality, that means automatically you're ugly.
Yeah.
If you and your sister, your actual sister, and so you don't want to hear that Annie is the one with more personality. You do not want to hear it. Trust me.
However, I know that I have more personality because that's what made me a comedian. If not, I would be a model.
But if that's the only thing that it's like, if people stop after saying that, that's a problem.
Yeah,
I know. Annie is a lot of personality. That's not great.
Fair, fine.
Yeah.
Which one of you has the most personality out of you and your siblings?
Me, I have all of it. They have nothing. I have the personality, the looks, like it's like crazy
Yeah,
how unfair it is in comparison
And all of
to
the
my two.
humbleness.
And all, yeah, it's like I just, I hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
They got nothing. One of them has some hair, I think, and the other person's like got some fingers or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's really not a fair deal.
Okay,
Like
so you're,
not even
you're the
close.
Sydney of all the siblings.
I'm the Sydney of all of them.
Yeah.
It's like insane. So when we got there, it's a very nice city, but also it's very easy to go around because
Oh, yeah.
I don't like driving at all. Like jokes aside, I do not want to live in a place where you can only drive, which is why I don't like Dubai, for example. Dubai, it's impossible to go around if you're not driving. As opposed to cities like Hong Kong or Singapore, where they have the best transportation system in the world. So you can just go anywhere. And it's so convenient, so easy to just jump on the train or even take taxis that are like reasonable or whatever. Sydney has also a very vibrant comedy scene, I would say. I have not, as the time of this recording, I've not done any shows in Melbourne yet. But the comedy store that we went to was really fun because we just went on a weekend. Like I was booked on a couple of shows. And it seems like there's a very big kind of like turnout. Like, how would you describe the comedy scene in Sydney?
The comedy scene in Sydney is smaller than Melbourne's ones,
Mm.
but there are more like big showcase opportunities as well. So often, like I'll get flown to do a show there. Or Sydney Comedy Store is also run by the Sydney Comedy Festival, and they'll book people to go on regional tours. So I would say people are pretty polished, and the type of comedy and sense of humor is very similar to Melbourne, except I think some people reckon that they're a little less PC. So Melbourne, I guess we have a reputation for being a little snowflakey.
Right. Yeah, that's like pretty much the one thing people warned me about is like too sensitive there in Melbourne.
Yeah, you asked me about this,
Yeah.
and I think I've just lived here and done comedy here for so long that the filter is automatically applied. Like
Right.
I'm not trying to be woke. I just am woke.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's also your audience, right? It's kind of dumb and like arrogant to live in a place and know what kind of audience you're dealing with and completely disregard
Yes,
that.
exactly.
That's just bad. Being
I think you can't.
not
you
a great
wouldn't
comedian.
survive. You just have to adapt, or you're not going to get the gigs.
Exactly.
And if the gigs, for me anyway, it's my full-time job. So if you need money, you better adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some great other rooms that we didn't have a chance to get you out to, but there's one called Standout, and they're pretty famous for having sunflowers that decorate the whole room, and everyone gets a video of their set so that they can, and it's edited for you if you want it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty
free
cool.
clips, like can't complain.
Yeah.
And the guy has bought out every fake sunflower in a 50-kilometer radius of Sydney.
Okay, that's a little psychotic, but okay.
Yeah.
What's his obsession with sunflowers?
It's a branding thing. So
Oh, okay.
he puts it up in the room with some fairy lights, and it becomes so iconically yellow that the clips really stand out.
yeah.
Pun unintended.
Yeah. Well, speaking of clips, when you were on the podcast that was in June, that's when we met in Hong Kong. And you were doing well. At the time, you were flown into Hong Kong to do OzCham event. And you did a couple of gigs with us and all of that. But your online presence was, I would say, I don't remember the number. It was probably like in less than 5,000.
Yeah, it was. Definitely. I reckon maybe like 4,000.
Yeah. And it's funny because at the time, Vivek was just hitting that sweet wave of like success of the one clip. And we actually mentioned it. I remember in the episode that you were on about how he still can't believe like this 20-something second clip just completely got him from 5 like you to 50,000.
Yeah, huge.
And gigantic. Actually, at the time, I think it wasn't 50, but now it is. So it was still like in the 30,000, which was nuts. Funny enough, a couple of months, maybe 2 months after that happened, the same thing happened to you.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. I remember I've been down in the dumps about social media for like over a year now, probably, where I'm cutting stuff, I'm putting it up, nothing's hitting. And I was saying to Vivek, like, oh, how do you do it? And I've said for ages that it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of my life, I'm never going to be saying I wish I spent more time on social media. But then I got a hit, and now I'm hooked.
So explain to we wouldn't spend much time on it because Vivek explained it already, like the process
the specifics of the algorithm.
Not just that, but also how it feels. Obviously, your experience is different, but like how going to a point where you're like, okay, this I lost control over this thing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, which sounds very ominous.
It's very weird, right? Because I remember you obviously texting me going, yep, the comments, like there's no stopping it.
Yeah, I was like, this thing's out of control.
Yeah. So when did you realize, oh my God, like this is gonna be big? Also explain to people what the clip is.
Okay, so the clip is just some highlights from this show that I do called China Tonight on ABC, and we're on holidays now. So I had time to, I asked.
And for the audience, ABC is not the American ABC, it's Australian ABC.
The Australian ABC, which is our national broadcaster. And
how did you get into China Tonight?
Through doing comedy, I had a friend recommend me for the show, and I used to do short 5-minute stories about anything that I was interested in. And then we had a famous journalist named Stan Grant finish up on the show at the start of this year, so they needed to look for a new host, and they decided to try something new, which was to put me, a comedian, with a newsreader, and then we have other people guest packaging in as well, so they would do what I used to do. And then I said, I will only do this if it suits my style. So I said I need it to have jokes and I need it to be funny. I can't just tell the news because that's not me, even though I have a journalism degree.
Right.
And so at the very beginning, I had this foresight to go, I want to start the episode with a gag every time. So my co-host Sam will introduce himself and say, hi, I'm Sam Yang. And I would go, and I'm his evil twin, Annie Louey. So then I decided to write, we had 12 episodes, so I wrote 12 gags. And then at the end I said, hey, editor Dave, can you cut me like a compilation of 4 of these? And he mashed it together. And then I just popped it up on Instagram because I popped a bunch of other things from the show on that never took off.
Right.
And then because it's such a fast-paced clip, it only goes for like 25 seconds or something, but I crammed a lot into it. And then it just started taking off. And I still didn't understand why people were interested in it because it's like a little show reel.
Yes.
And so they really liked the tone of it, where I think they're like, oh, who is she? She's unhinged. She's crazy. She's like dark. Yeah, she's
you
fucked in the
crazy
head.
girl.
Yeah. She's a crazy girl.
We were just watching. Annie showed me TikTok for the first time in my life, by the way, because obviously listeners in Hong Kong know that we don't have TikTok there. So literally, it's like me just like showing a kid from Africa, like, which is true. A kid, I am an actual kid from
the internet.
Yeah. She's like, oh, have you seen TikTok before? I'm like, never in my life. And then she just like flipped it in front of me, and then we were hooked for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, and then, So you crazy girl. She's just showing me all these, I guess, trends.
Yeah, trends.
Yeah. And then when you click on the audio or whatever, it shows you the people who are doing the same trend, right?
Yeah.
And so one of them is just this really silly. I mean, they're all silly.
Yeah, it's just a woman sarcastically commenting on a video of a woman who's going to dip her quesadilla in some melted cheese.
Yeah.
And the commentary is like, oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's a crazy girl. So you just apply this to any sarcastic situation where you're like, oh, wow, you're going to go into the house and you're not going to wear shoes. Oh, my God. Like, no house slippers. Oh, you're crazy. Crazy girl.
So so people like that you're crazy girl in the comments.
We've gone so far off track. What are we talking about now?
Your video. I'm on track. I'm very much on track.
Yeah. Oh yes, right. Yeah. People were like, oh, she's
unhinged.
Nuts. She's like, So it just started picking up steam, and now it's got over 500,000 views.
That's nuts.
I went from 4,000 followers to now like 12,000.
Yeah.
I got verified like the first crack I had. I tried to get verified multiple times over the last,
even though you work for like
4 years,
the biggest broadcaster in the country. They're like, no, fuck off.
Nope. And then once I hit 10K, I just put in another application, and it went like less than 12 hours. It was like, you're verified now, and I don't have to pay $25 US every month. Like, I feel like I'm winning, even though
Yeah.
I'm losing because I've just lost many hours of my life checking in on all the comments and all the likes.
Well, you also said something that I thought was really interesting, which is that after this blow up of the video, actually more of your followers are now American than Australian.
Yeah.
Which is very weird to me.
Yeah.
Because the show is very Australian. It's about China.
Yeah.
What does Americans have to do with anything?
I think because they're really in touch with Asian American stuff. You know, I feel like when I went to America and saw the Asian population there, they're just so much more advanced in how accepted they are in society and in the media, and how you have these really niche segments of Asian America where you don't need, like, you can be like, there's podcasts out there for like Asian Americans who are into cheese. I don't know,
Right.
you know, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And you can
Yeah.
find your people, and it's cool to hang out with your own kind. No one's going to be like, why are all the Asians hanging out with their Asian friends? Why aren't they assimilating? Which is what we have in Australia, which
Yeah.
I feel like we're so backwards here compared to over there. So, yeah, I think they're just like, oh, this person's extroverted and she's Asian. Like, this makes sense to us. Like, you know, because we have Ali Wong and like
Yeah.
we get it and all that. So, whereas like, you know, here in Australia, I think the top comment on the whole page is somebody being like, this show about China hosted by Chinese people, this isn't very diverse.
What a
And so I clapped back at that, being like, yeah, the Australian media needs more white people.
Right.
And now that comment has like 5,000 likes. Or
Right,
something.
right,
So
yeah.
it's like the ultimate clapback. Like, I'm not even going to take that down because I would just let the trolls fight it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for your traction anyway. Whatever is happening on
Yeah.
the page, that's good for you. That's what.
Well, Mo's been my therapist through this whole thing where he's like, yeah, you should do this. Or like, don't worry about that. Or
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I watched this show. I don't know if you watched it, The Social Dilemma, like a couple of
Uh-huh,
years
yeah.
ago, and they were talking about like how those social media platforms, they just don't care. As long as you're on there, they're winning.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what's happening.
which
You
is-
can say Twitter is shit. You can say Instagram is garbage. As long as you're saying it on the platform, then it's great.
And I'm doing free labor for them. The fact I had the clip and I'm still churning out clips, like we're all doing free labor for these
Oh yeah, of
companies.
course, yeah. But well, supposedly, like the whole point is that your attention is the product, right? You think whatever you're putting on is the product, but you are actually the product.
Yeah. Have you ever read Stolen Focus? It's here on my bookshelf. I insist you take this book.
I will take it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the best thing I read last year, but it's a non-fiction book about how our focus is getting slimmer and slimmer.
Yeah, this topic was brought up multiple times on this podcast between Vivek and me about how we're especially as like we're just getting older and getting busier, and in our line of work it's like maximum 2 things at any given moment that
Yeah.
you actually has your attention, not full attention, but just has my attention, and it just can very quickly become 2 other things in the next 6 seconds. It's sad.
Oh, no.
how bad it is.
Yeah, they say there's no such thing as multitasking. This is what a friend told me. You're just doing many tasks badly.
Yeah, that's right. So you're at a point in your career, obviously being my girlfriend and seeing how
Ooh, yucky.
yuck.
Ew, yuck.
Exactly. Yeah. Seeing kind of like the progress that you've had over the last few months especially, it seems like your career is some sort of a crossroad in a way, because the social media takeoff is one thing, but you also had a manager who you signed with that is now trying to find bigger stuff for you. And then you, like, as while I'm with you and I can see all these much bigger opportunities suddenly happening, when it's like, hey, this is something you said like you wouldn't even dream of a year ago, when people be like, hey, do you want to come to the biggest event on TV? And it's, to me, what is interesting is like how people just, your presence in a place now automatically adds value to that place, which to me is insane. You
like
know?
physically, like where you're located, or what do you mean adding value?
Like if you're invited to a place, to an event, for example, they want you there just to be there. You're not part of the event. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like when you're invited to the Logies, which you can explain to the
about.
or the other horse racing thing. Both of these things are things you're not participating in.
Yeah, that's the insane thing, is that I came up through using my brain and my sense of humor, and now people are inviting you to be part of the furniture. Can you just decorate this space with your presence?
Right.
Yeah, which is like in conflict with me, because as a comedian, you would know we get treated pretty poorly at some shows.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I get excited if I see mineral water. I'm like
Yes.
gonna cry. I'm like, oh my God, you shouldn't have. Thank you so much. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit. I don't deserve this. And so having now a manager who reps some of the biggest presenting talent in Australia, and she only has me and another comedian named Dane Simpson on her books. So I'm more leaning towards those people who they're like celebrity chefs or they're celebrity one's an ex-rally car driver who has done a lot of morning show TV now. So getting invited because you're on PR lists is a new thing to me. And so the Logies is the biggest awards night in Australia. It's like the Academy Awards or the Oscars for Australian TV. And you can't even get a +1 for this. Like some of the biggest stars, they can't even invite their partners ever because there's just not enough spaces. So to be able to attend that and go to the after party where you schmooze with people is a big deal. And everyone was asking me like, spill the tea. Like I couldn't believe how my inbox exploded the next day because everyone just wants the celebrity goss. And that's when you start thinking,
who got drunk, who's doing drugs, and all of these things.
And suddenly you're like, who are my real friends? Like it changed overnight, and it just makes you think it's so fickle because I think that's some of the most popular things I put out are me flying business class to Hong Kong.
Because people are
and me going to the Logies. Everyone is like, oh my God, like, and so it just feels kind of fake where you can manufacture this sense of importance just by getting invited to some like fancy party.
But I feel like that's a lot of these businesses like manufacture the sense of importance. This is why I was making fun of someone the other day that who has like 1,000 something followers is verified. I'm like, there is no way he did not buy that, which is so silly because why would you do that? But then you answered it. It's the same thing. Manufactured importance is like, oh, I know. Anyone else looking at it might not pay attention to how many followers he has. Be like, he's verified, hence he's important.
Yeah, so it's a chicken or the egg. So sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it. I've just used like 10 cliches in a row.
Sure.
So, I think once you start looking like you are a somebody, you will become a somebody in a way, which is a sad reality. But
then you have the cynics like me who see this and be like, fuck this. Like, I'm not doing this, any of this. And I know you're a phony. So I'm not even going to work.
That's not very personal. You look me right in the eyes when you said
it's
that.
only the two of us in the room. But like I see this, I'm like, even if I would have worked with you, now I don't want to because you're pretending too hard.
Yeah.
And like I can see through it, you know?
I think people can smell that. Everyone talks about authenticity these days.
Yeah.
But I think it helps that I'm a comedian because at any time you can invite me to an event, I can just take the piss out of it. I mean, even if you go to my Instagram, the video of me going to the Logies is not like a red carpet. No, it's me. I fell down the stairs. My knees were bleeding. I'm going to talk about that. You know?
So, but I think earlier, like what fascinates me about what's happening with you as well is that it seems like your career can go in so many different directions, and it seems like at some point you probably have to choose one. Because there's just like too many big opportunities, but you can't do all of them. So you're offered, for example, a TV show that I'm not going to name, but like a big, very big TV show in Australia. And if you do get that, that's pretty much a full-time job for like how many months, right? Like 2 or 3 months of the shooting when you can't really do much else.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's something I learned having been living in Melbourne and then getting offered 2 months or 3 months of work in Sydney is that I realized you can't be in 2 places at once. You physically can't do that many things.
Exactly.
So you got to let people down and disappoint them and just say, I don't have capacity. Or sometimes I'll send my sister in because she looks just like me. To some people who are a little bit racist.
Right.
So I did do that going, I'm going to offer you the doppelganger.
The younger
version. What did we say in the
one who is
email? I said dupe. I was like, here's an Annie Louey dupe.
The one that has more personality.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to offer you the Melbourne sister for half the price.
Yeah.
And so, she took on a gig that was for the Lord Mayor of Melbourne. They have a students' welcome, and she showed me the photos. It was the Queen Vic Market with 500 people showing up. I'm like, damn, I missed out on that gig, but I was in Bali with you. So that's, again, you can't do everything. So I've kind of chilled out a bit. And you're a limited resource. There's only one of you, and that makes you kind of special. It's good. And that allows you some leverage too, where like if you really want me, you gotta pay up.
A couple of cool things that happened throughout our trip as well is one, I saw you get recognized a few times throughout the trip. One of them was pretty funny, was a Airbnb host who you told me, and I quote, "This man is 100% of ABC's target audience." And this
Jim from Erskineville.
Jim from Erskineville.
Bless your heart. Might
Yeah.
even send him the episode.
Yeah, we should actually. So he's like, what, a 50-something-year-old gray hair man?
Yeah, I think he was.
How would you
he looked
describe
younger
him?
than what I saw in his profile. I reckon. I expected we were going to stay with like a 70-year-old retiree who's not got much happening, but I reckon Jim lives a very full life.
Yeah.
Like he's got eclectic decorations in his house. He obviously loves to chat to his
Guests,
I
yeah.
was going to say customers.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't spend quite enough time with him. But the first thing that he opened with when we came in the house was, "Are you the woman from China Tonight?"
Right.
Very confidently.
Yeah.
And I had my hair up. I had my glasses on. I had a hiking bag on.
Yeah.
I immediately felt embarrassed because
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know. I should be staying at a hotel. But I'm down with the people, Jim. I'm here with you.
Yeah, I'm just like you. Yeah.
It was $80 a night.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was shocked. He
Yeah.
was like, why would you stay here?
Share between two people, by the way. Because
I totally forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Just take my $40, Jim, and leave me alone. Don't ask me questions. I immediately put sunglasses on. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
You're like, no, I'm not, and don't ever think about this again.
Yeah.
Just pull out like the pen from Men in Black. When you just have
Oh,
your,
will
like,
you
now-
erase their
Yeah,
memories?
exactly.
Yes.
You're like,
Yeah.
yes, but you're not gonna remember that tomorrow, Jim. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Jim from Eskimo. We never met.
Yeah. So yeah, this one was a very positive one. The negative one, which I thought was hilarious, and
I haven't even heard.
very
I haven't told the
cringy.
story yet to the person who is at the center of the story. Actually,
you should.
I should.
I think, yeah. So I think you should tell it, and I can interject and say
Yeah,
my. So yeah.
we're at the comedy store. Mohammed just performed, and I'm sitting in this section that's kind of the VIP comics +1 section. And Mo comes back. He's sitting next to me, and this guy approaches at the interval, and he's wearing a fedora, like a light-colored fedora that matches his beachy kind of shirt.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, I love your comedy." He
And
says
he's
to me.
talking to you. Yes.
He's talking to me. He's like, "I love your comedy. I saw you perform in Marrickville, and I really love the joke. Loved it." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." I thought Marrickville. Yeah, I've been to Sydney a few times. Might have been a few years ago I performed at Marrickville. I was like, "Yeah, Marrickville. Was it Best Mates Comedy?" And he says, "Yes, it was." And he goes, "Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, and I really loved your jokes." And I go, "Oh, that's great. But can you just go back to the part where what joke? Because I couldn't really hear it." And he's like, "You heard the joke." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Your joke about Mongolia." And I'm Mongolia. I've never been to Mongolia. And I'm going instantly, that's Lizzie Who. That's another Asian comedian. And she's half Chinese, Malaysian, and Aussie.
Yeah.
And she has a very iconic look. She's like Australia's Australia's Ali Wong.
Right.
So she has hair in like a bun with some like funky looking glasses.
Sure.
And I was wearing glasses, sure,
Yeah.
but I have long black hair. And
Yeah.
I was sitting there wearing your hoodie, and I hadn't performed at the store.
Yes.
And then instantly when I told him this and he realized his mistake, he just started backing away and going, oh. And
He started physically backing away.
he did, like with these like arm movements, like recoiling. And I'm like, oh, but I was trying to make him feel comfortable because I hate embarrassing people.
I know. And he didn't even mean. Oh, clearly he didn't mean to. He's the racist. And it's so funny to me how nice you are that you're still like, no, but you shouldn't feel bad.
Yeah. I was like,
When he should totally feel bad.
I was like, my name's Annie Louey. You should check out my comedy sometime.
Right.
And he was like, yeah. He just went back to his seat. He was like, I would say like 35 years old.
Yeah. Something like that.
And he went back and he sat down, and I swear to God, he was sitting next to an Asian woman. And I'm like, you have out
I
of
think
all
he sat
people-
next to a woman and he went, hey, I really like your comedy.
just anyone in the room. Let's try again.
My favorite part of this story is that throughout the whole thing, I was sitting right next to you. I was just performing on stage, and he never acknowledged my presence once. Not positive or negative.
You crushed it. You killed.
And I had a very good set, and it's rare that I actually get off and say that, at least publicly. I can message you and say I have a good set, but I never really say, oh, I had a great set. Like, I went online and I said I have a good set because I was very proud of the work that I've done.
But a lot of comics also say they have a good set, and they hadn't had a good set.
Exactly.
So I can verify you had a great set.
Right. And that piece of shit never even acknowledged my presence, and he went to you saying that he liked you. Wrong comic, wrong Asian person, and still had the balls to be like, and then he's just like,
he didn't even ask my name or anything.
No.
He didn't say like, "Hey, Lizzie." He went in with such confidence, going, "I love your comedy." So it could have been prevented if only he had started with, "Hi, Lizzie. Are you Lizzie who?"
Yeah.
But no, that's
so is that
of white men.
What is the landscape of the so obviously the Melbourne Comedy Festival was also brought up on the podcast many times because Vivek was here and he did a couple of episodes with Andy when he was in town. But right now, as a working comic in Melbourne and in Australia, you also do a bunch of road gigs and stuff. What's the landscape like in terms of the regular scene? Not the bigger guys, not the Jim Jeffries and the Hannah Gatsby's, but like the younger guys, like you guys.
Do you want to know about the road scene as well? Is this part of the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you hustle on the open mic scene. There's a lot of open mic comedy in Melbourne, or you might give a hand at running a room as well. So I did that for a year, and over a year, I ran like a free comedy night at a pizza restaurant, and then I went on to taking over an existing curated night that would run. I'd probably maybe do 4 shows a year. And
4 shows a year, that's not much, obviously, to have to sustain a business.
No, it was definitely a showcase one that we'd run for like Midsummer, which is a queer festival, or Melbourne Fringe, for instance. So you go hook up with a venue and then book your comics, and very similar to what you would do, but you have a venue that's permanent. So you can do that, and then there's some independent showcases as well that you can get booked on, and that some of them are regional. So there's one in Australia, a guy, basically everyone has a little patch. Like they've got like the Northern Victoria patch, and this guy does a show called Women of Wit, and he can tour a bunch of women around in his patch. And then there's like a Geelong guy, and then there's like, wherever else. So you just start building up a contact list of all these people, and you can, because once you've exhausted the city, let's say you gig 3 to 5 times a week in the city and you feel like you're doing the same jokes over and over, then it's time to go regional. And we have a lot of regional gigs, so you can do your best 10 minutes and no one's ever heard them before. So because people aren't traveling into the city,
of course,
they're not even going to comedy festival ever, possibly. So that's why we bring the comedy to them. Yeah. So once you're ready and you do your solo show, that's where everyone starts to really get noticed by the Melbourne Comedy Festival, or you build your own audience independently. Because some of those guys, like there's a guy named Luke Kidgel, he makes like millions of dollars off touring the entire country independently,
and no one knows who he is, like from outside of Australia.
No one would know. A lot of people would know him, but just maybe even his just dedicated fan base. I wouldn't say even my friends would know him at all. But because people probably think that the comedy festival makes or breaks you, but if you don't like doing the festival, you can just go do your own thing. But
like for a guy like Luke, how many, just trying to think of the economics of it, he's touring independently. That means he promotes his own shows.
Yep.
So how many cities can, I guess Australia obviously is full of cities. I get that everyone speaks English. A list
of like 100, like bumfuck towns that you can go to.
But he can go, like none of you guys want to go to. He's like, I would go there.
Yeah.
And he's doing whatever venues of like 300, 400, 500.
Yeah, easily.
Getting like a town hall or something like that. Yeah. That's genius,
though. It comes back to social media because he's cutting clips and he's been feeding it the machine, and then that's when you've got your audience and you can do it. Now he's branching out into management as well. So repping other comedians.
He's repping other comedians. So he's producing stuff for other comics. I see. Yeah.
So many ways to get into it, but what I found worked was going through doing solo shows at Melbourne Fringe and at Melbourne Comedy Festival until
And
talent
explain
scouts
to the
come.
layman what is the difference between the Melbourne Fringe and the Comedy Festival.
The Melbourne Fringe is not really for stand-up comedians.
Mm.
You can do a show there, but they like weird stuff. They want you to be...
They like Ben.
They love sequins. They
Yeah.
love Ben.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he won an award through them.
Yeah, Ben
I
is a
think.
previous guest from a couple of episodes ago. You guys remember who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. And they want anything that is outside of the box that is also very theatrical. So I've always started my shows trialing them there, and only recently, the previous show, I broke out of that mold where I actually debuted it at Comedy Festival because I got an award and it had to debut at the Comedy Festival.
And
then
what's the award?
The award is called the Moosehead, and it's for anything that's bold and innovative and basically weird. So also
Right.
weird. Yeah, and I did a show about my experiences working at a funeral home during the pandemic. And so it was a blend of theatre and comedy, and it was definitely pretty weird.
In a way, as a kind of a stand-up purist, isn't that like encouraging weird in stand-up? It seems to me that it's almost encouraging people to go around stand-up, you know? Which,
Yeah.
again, as a purist, I don't like the idea. It's like, you know, you can do something that is billed as, this is a weird show.
Yeah.
But if I am just a general comedy audience that is just going to a comedy show, and I think it's a stand-up, I'm expecting a stand-up show.
But if I never advertised it as stand-up, that's on you.
Yes,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it advertised as? Was it advertised as a weird show? Or was it advertised as... I
Well,
genuinely
it was
don't know.
called Annie Louey's Flirting with Death. So
Right.
it's on the poster, and they're like, "Ooh, this is gonna be a death show."
Yeah.
And I guess the poster just had reviews, like stars on it, and then if you clicked onto it in the blurb, it's very obvious. It's like, you know, this based on real life events, and this has a director, and Annie Louey worked at a funeral home during these dates. But there's mix of stand-up in it. So if you love stand-up, you'll get the stories and the standing up and me telling them.
Yeah.
But at times we'll also deviate into a PowerPoint pretation.
Ah,
and then, you know,
that's cool though, because that means, you're getting a sort of a show as opposed to like a theater show of sorts, as opposed to a stand-up show.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. And I got a lot of great feedback from people who go, this was good for my limited attention span now.
Exactly.
Because they're like, now we're over here. Now we're going to watch a video. Now some dude is dancing out of a coffin. Like, you know, so yeah, I think people with ADHD loved that show. And this...
Was that all the reviews? Great for my ADHD. 5 stars.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it had a lot of physical comedy, a bit of acting and stuff in it as well. I had to get actors, but like basically my whole team got COVID during that.
Oh no.
Except for me, like I dodged it. My entire family went down. My producer went down.
Yeah.
My director went down, and so that made me think, oh, I don't want to do a theatre show anymore. Like not for the next year immediately. Like I want to go wherever the jokes are. The jokes are in my brain, and I can just take them anywhere. So the portability of writing a stand-up show tempted me a lot. But after doing that, I realized it's just as much work as creating that theatre show, actually.
Yeah.
So now I think I'm going to rest for a year.
Right. Yeah. One last thing is that, again, being obviously with you made me realize that you are, and speaking to your friends and stuff, made me realize how good you are at getting grants from the government.
Don't blow my cover. Watch as I'll never get a grant again, because they're like, shit, this chick's rolling in grants.
I mean, that's not a bad thing to even say, like to be proud of, or to, say, to brag about.
I just
how
think
good you are.
it's-
And also, but it's funny because for me, from my side, as someone from Egypt or even living in Hong Kong, it seems like the Australian government just doesn't know what to do with. They're like, hey, do you want some money? Just like put in an application, we'll give you money.
Yeah.
And to me,
yeah.
that's just nuts.
We love pencil pushing. We
Yeah,
love
yeah.
box ticking and like government jobs. Everyone, they're so cushy. So the government has all this money, but they need to make sure that it's being given to the right causes, right? So you kind of have to earn it a little bit and prove that you're not going to waste it. It's all about that. So like show us that you're a trustworthy person or organization who isn't going to waste this government money. And then at the end, you just prove how you spent that money. In an
Where do they
acquittal
get the money
report.
from?
Well, the Australian government has funds for promoting our art, you know, because it's good for society or it's good for international affairs. So like you just helped me with an application recently to fly over and attend some performing arts fairs so that I can get inspired for my future art. And I think that's a great noble
That's
cause.
really cool. Yeah.
And you then, you know, knowledge exchange and all this other wank that and you
Insert wank
yeah,
here.
like I actually said the phrase, just insert some wank there because it's so normal to me now when I fill in these applications like wank, 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 wank and submit.
And you get all of them.
I've been pretty successful. Yeah, $50,000 to make 3 sketches is what I'm doing
this
right
is
now.
the last one where we'll end with, because to me, I've been with you throughout the whole process from being accepted until now.
Not the application, because I'd already submitted the application when I went to Hong Kong. That was like my
Right.
little treat of like, yes, it's done and I'm leaving.
Yeah, but it hasn't been
Goodbye.
accepted yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was in
so-
the waiting process.
Exactly. And so explain to everyone, so you're working on something called Fresh Blood. And Fresh Blood is a grant by which branch of the government?
Screen Australia and ABC, so the
Right.
TV network that I freelance for.
And they're giving you 50,000 Australian dollar to make 3 sketches,
yeah.
and that's it. That's the
it.
entire thing.
Yep.
Here's
no promises
$50,000.
of anything further than that. Just make the sketches.
Yeah, and it can be as bad as it can be. You still have the money, so you can basically shoot it with an iPhone and be like, that's a sketch I want to make.
Not quite, because there's a lot of hoops to jump through, and we've been given 4 supervisors who
There
are
you go,
from
okay.
like 2 from ABC and 2 from Screen Australia, and they check in on you frequently to see how are you going.
So
what
which
are the
goes back to
ideas.
like not wasting the money.
Yeah,
right?
not wasting the money. Exactly. But they just also, when you think about it from the perspective of the government, they just want that money spent, really. Because there's always budget for it for each year for certain projects. And if you don't spend it, the government, whoever the boss's boss is not going to give that money again.
Right, yeah.
So you're helping someone else, you know?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, we don't care. Like, just make sure that it's spent. And that's what often happens at the end of the financial year for things like travel allowance, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly they're like, oh crap, it's June 29. Let's take all the flights.
Sure.
And it's not real money. Sometimes it's like funny money, like corporate money as well. So yeah, but government grants, I think it just comes down to good writing. And so I don't say I'm really good at getting money. I'm just really good at writing, which is sometimes what the grants are for.
Yeah.
So it's just a big old circle jerk.
Right.
I'm big good at writing, wank, get more money for wanking. Is that a good place to end?
Yeah, it's a great place to end. And thank you so much for joining us on Ho Ho Hong Kong. This was a very, very special episode for so many reasons. But one of them being that you drove me to Sydney and back.
Am I your best friend now?
No.
Damn
but
it. I quit.
Yeah, you'll be there one day. Maybe when you get me a grant, one of those grants that you keep getting for people.
So like if I get you $50,000, you might consider me your best friend.
No, I can promise you.
Okay.
I will actually murder Vivek. Like here, I'm telling you on record. Give me $50,000, I will kill. I know where he lives.
Okay, yeah.
I will just poison him.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
You're hired as my official hitman.
There you go. Annie Louey, thank you so much. One last thing before we leave. How do people find you online?
You can go to my viral Instagram at Annie Louey, spelled A-N-N. I actually fucked up my name. A-N-N-I-E-L-O-U-E-Y.
It's Anna Louey, the one with more personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is actually my sister's name. We don't have time to go into it.
Annie Louey, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week. Also, check out the Patreon on patreon.com/hohopod. Every single week we have bonus episodes and a lot of other cool stuff. Check us out and see you soon.